Hi, Kubrick Lover 1972, back with another part 32, I think we're at. Samuel Fuller's the next director we're going to take a look at. I have a box set, and then I have a few of his other movies as well. So we'll start off with the box set. It's a Criterion. All these are Criterions. This is an Eclipse box set. First films of Samuel Fuller. I shot Jesse James. I haven't watched that, or The Baron of Arizona. I haven't watched that either. But I did watch A Steel Helmet. That's about the Korean War, which I believe he fought in. It says his films have been called raw, outrageous, sensational, and daring. In 4 decades of directing, Samuel Fuller created a legendary idiosyncratic oeuvre, examining U.S. history and myth-making in westerns, film noirs, and war epics. And characteristically, it all began with a bang. After printing the legend with the elegant B pictures, I Shot Jesse James and The Baron of Arizona, he got himself into hot water with the FBI for The Steel Helmet, the first American movie to portray the Korean War. These 3 independent films showed off Fuller's genre, diversity, gutter wit, and subversive force, and pointed the way to a controversial career in movie making. So his first film is I Shot Jesse James. Samuel Fuller made his directorial debut with his taut psychological western, which excavates the tale of Robert Ford, the man who shot Jesse James. I also have in my collection the film with Casey Affleck and Brad Pitt called The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. I like that film. My hearing's a little bad, so I couldn't hear some of it very well. Maybe I should watch it again, turn the volume up. But it wasn't a bad movie. The Baron of Arizona, a devilishly witty Vincent Price plays a 19th century con man who sets out to commit the most epic swindle in U.S. history to claim himself as the rightful inheritor of Arizona. And then the last one in this box set is The Steel Helmet. With its low budget and high ambitions, this snarling Korean War film, an examination of race relations, as well as a visceral plunge into battle, remains one of Fuller's most discussed and admired works. The Steel Helmet, my friends and I noticed there's a Buddha in the film, because it's Asia, but the Buddha looked very Western looking. It didn't have like slanted eyes or anything. So it's kind of a weird looking Buddha, so that's just an interesting tidbit or anecdote or what have you for Steel Helmet. That's I Shot Jesse James. And here we have Vincent Price and The Baron of Arizona. And then finish it off with Steel Helmet. So, and Samuel Fuller was this guy. He liked I don't know if he liked controversy, but he didn't accept things the way other people did. I mean, like I said in the previous video about the Twilight Zone, like Rod Serling was a man that didn't like racism, and neither did Samuel Fuller. I mean, they found their society objectionable. They found it not uncouth. I don't know if that's the right word I would use, but just unconscionable, wrong to conduct your life in such a way. This is before the civil rights movement kicked off. They were pretty pissed off that race relations weren't like they are today, but they spoke up. They didn't they didn't hide their feelings. They spoke up to this, and that's what makes them great men. That's what makes them recognized today. So the next film we got is Pick Up on South Street. Let me read it. Petty crook Skip McCoy, Richard Widmark, has his eyes fixed on the big score when the cocky three-time convict picks the pocketbook of unsuspecting Candy, Gene Peters. He finds a haul bigger than he could have imagined, a strip of microfilm bearing confidential U.S. secrets. Tailed by manipulative feds and the unwitting couriers, communist puppeteers, Skip and Candy find themselves in a precarious gambit that pits greed against redemption, right versus red, and passion against self-preservation. With its dazzling cast and director Samuel Fuller's signature raw energy and hard-boiled repertoire, Pickup on South Street is a true film noir classic by one of America's most passionate cinematic craftsmen. And Samuel Fuller was like one of the first independent filmmakers before there was an independent filmmaker, you know. It's got a exclusive video interview with the late Sam Fuller made by renowned film critic Richard Schickel, who, by the way, Richard Schickel passed away recently. I think he basically wrote for Time. I've heard some of the commentaries he's done. I wasn't too wild about the commentaries he's done for some films. I had one that he did for La Dolce Vita, and I got the Criterion of La Dolce Vita, and the one that had his commentary on, I gave to the place where I work, which is a library. And then there's a commentary that I have on another film I own, which is Good, Bad, and the Ugly. He's a good writer, but I don't think he's a vet. He does very good commentaries, in my opinion. Cinemas, Fuller, French television show with Fuller discussing the making of the film. Illustrated biographical essay on Fuller, complete Fuller poster filmography, stills galleries of photos, lobby cards, and original paintings, trailers for 8 Sam Fuller films, and a 20-page booklet including excerpts from Fuller's award-winning autobiography, A Third Face, My Tale of Writing, Fighting, and Filmmaking, featuring Martin Scorsese's introduction and Fuller on Pickup on South Street, plus a new essay by acclaimed cultural historian Luc Sant, Low Life, Lures and Snares of Old New York, Evidence. So, another person that's in Pickup on South Street is Thelma Ritter. She plays a smaller role, I believe. Thelma Ritter, in case you're wondering who she is, she played I believe a lot of old Hollywood movies. I don't think she got lead roles. She got like supporting roles. The role that comes to mind for me, I know she's been in a few other movies besides Pickup on South Street, but the one I can think of, really the only one I can. There's another one I'm trying to think of, but I can't remember what it is. But she was in Hitchcock's Rear Window, and she played the nurse of James Stewart. So, anyways, so yeah, this is the booklet right here. By the way, Samuel Fuller liked to smoke cigars, sort of like Rod Serling liked to smoke lots of cigarettes, you know. Anyways, so now we got some films he did after that. We got Shock Corridor. I'll read this, but I'll provide you with some commentary of my own on this too. In Shock Corridor, the great American writer, director, producer Samuel Fuller masterfully charts the uneasy terrain between sanity and madness. Seeking a Pulitzer Prize, reporter Johnny Barrett, Peter Breck, has himself committed to a mental hospital to investigate a murder. As he closes in on the killer, insanity closes in on him. Constance Towers co-stars as Johnny's cool-headed stripper girlfriend, with a startling commentary on racism and other hot-button issues in 60s America, and his daring photography by Stanley Cortez. Shock Corridor has had far-reaching influence. So it's got a new video interview with star Constance Towers by film historian and filmmaker Charles Dennis, the typewriter, the rifle, and the movie camera, Adam Simon's 1996 documentary and director Samuel Fuller, original theatrical trailer, and illustrations by cartoonist Daniel Close, and a booklet featuring an essay by critic and poet Robert Polito and excerpts from Fuller's autobiography, The Third Phase, My Tale of Writing, Fighting, and Filmmaking. So this reporter gets himself committed to a mental hospital, and he shot this in a really low budget. There's something that happens to the set at the very end that he couldn't do at the start, because once he did what he did at the end of this movie, he couldn't undo it. Or if he did undo it, he'd have to dump more money into making this film again. So, it touches on issues like racism and maybe xenophobia as well. Maybe, foreigners. I think there was a thing about foreigners in this. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. And there's nymphomaniacs in it, who are like women obsessed with sex. But he had like biting social commentary at a time where people like to put the lid on things and not like expose them, because we're talking about a time period where things are just starting to be recognized for what they truly are, addressing social issues that America was like suppressing, at the time. It's just in the back. It just has the word "shock corridor," so nothing really to that, And then it's got the disc right there. So, but this is a really good movie. I enjoy this a lot. And it's a film that was done on a very low budget, and it's impressive what they did on this budget. Next up, we got The Naked Kiss. I think this stars Constance Towers again. Yes, the setup is pure pulp. A former prostitute, a crackerjack, Constance Towers, relocates to a button-down suburb, determined to fit in with mainstream society. But in the strange, hallucinatory territory, a writer-director-producer Samuel Fuller, perverse secrets simmer beneath the wholesome surface. Featuring radical visual touches, full-throttle performances, brilliant cinematography by Stanley Cortez, and one bizarrely beautiful musical number, The Naked Kiss is among Fuller's greatest, boldest entertainments. And it's got a new video interview with star Constance Towers by film historian and filmmaker Charles Dennis, excerpts from a 1983 episode of the South Bank Show dedicated to the director Samuel Fuller, interview with Fuller from a 1967 episode of the French television series Cinéastes de Notre Temps, interview with Fuller from a 1987 episode of the French television series Cinemas, original theatrical trailer, illustrations by cartoonist Daniel Close, and a booklet featuring an essay by critic and poet Robert Polito, and excerpts from Fuller's autobiography, A Third Phase, My Tale of Writing, Fighting, and Filmmaking. So again, like Shock Corridor, you have The Naked Kiss behind there, and then you have the disc, and then you have this nice booklet. They really do get very good artwork. They really custom tailor all their movies that they put into the Criterion Collection with great care, and and that just makes it really good. It adds to the pleasurability of the viewing experience, and just the ambience and the whole the whole phenomenon of the movie. So this is touching on sex right here. I can't remember, I guess she's a prostitute if I recall correctly. I watched this film too. And I think this is touching again on hot button issues, and he didn't shy away from controversy. Let's just put it that way. He shot on low budgets, and then I guess eventually studios had him. He worked for studios. Before I show you the next one, there's another film he did called The Big Red One, which is a World War II movie. Lee Marvin was the general or leader of this army group, and one of the soldiers is Mark Hamill from Star Wars. Luke Skywalker, and he's sort of a what's the word I'm looking for? Recalcitrant, a unwilling soldier who doesn't want to kill people, but when they get to this concentration camp, I'm giving it away, but something happens. So, anyways, but that's a good movie. I think it's I don't know if it's an anti-war film. I'm not quite sure on that. But that's worth watching. I don't own it, but I've seen it, And there's a director's cut. I think it's longer, and it's the way Samuel Fuller wanted it. But I think at the time that it came out in the theaters, it was truncated or cut a little bit different than Samuel Fuller wanted it to be. The next film, the last film I have of his, is a film called White Dog. I'll read the back for you. Samuel Fuller's throat-grabbing statement on American racism was misunderstood and withheld from release when it was made in the early 80s. Today, the notorious film is lauded for its daring metaphor and gripping pulp filmmaking. Christy McNichol stars as a young actress who adopts a lost German shepherd only to discover, through a series of horrifying incidents, that the dog has been trained to attack black people. And Paul Winfield plays the animal trainer who tries to cure him. A snarling and uncompromising vision of human corruption, White Dog has lost none of its power to shock the senses or the conscience. New video interviews with Davison, co-writer Curtis Hanson, and director Sam Fuller's widow, Krista Lang Fuller. An interview with dog trainer Carl Lewis Miller. Rare photos from the film's production, and a booklet featuring essays by critics Jay Hoberman and Armand White. Jay Hoberman, I think he's dead. Let me know if he is or not. I think he died, though, and he wrote for the Village Voice. As well as a 1982 piece in which Fuller interviews the canine star of the film. This is a really good movie. So, like Samuel Fuller wasn't afraid to tackle something that's controversial and possibly not make any money at the box office or get blocked from doing it. But, kudos to Samuel Fuller for not backing down, After this, he went to Paris, and I think he lived the rest of his life in Paris, and over in Paris, he was hailed as a legend. Whereas here, I don't remember my source, but I'm not talking about Samuel Fuller in this particular quote, but it said that in Hollywood, you're only as good as the last picture you made, even if you made a masterpiece like 3 films back. But in a place like France, if you make a classic and then you make 3 bad films after that, you're still highly lauded because of the fact of the films you made previously. Like, I think maybe it's changing in Europe and in America right now, but like at one time, I think France was a place, and I still think sort of is to some extent, place where filmmaking, cinema is a religion, and in our neck of the woods, it's more of a commercial entertainment enterprise. Um, but yeah, Samuel Fuller was highly regarded by the French. In fact, in Godard's, I think it's Pere Le Fou, and as I said before in my video on Godard, Godard for me, he's polarizing. I guess he's sort of like David Lynch is to me, which is that here's Samuel Fuller right here with Christy McNichol. Some, Godard or Lynch movies I really like a lot. I either really like them or really dislike them. I could use the word hate, I guess, but and there's a few, maybe it's one or two Lynch movies, like Blue Velvet. I'm kind of split on parts of it, but I guess most of them I'm either I like it a lot or don't like it at all. So it's the same with Godard, but I'm digressing. The point I want to make is in Pierre Le Fou, I believe, almost positive it's Pierre Le Fou. In one of the scenes, Samuel Fuller makes an appearance. So that tells you how highly lauded Samuel Fuller was in the film community of the French. Yeah. So, anyways, that's Samuel Fuller. Next up, we have Rome, which I will do in the next video. Anyways, if you want to see some good Samuel Fuller films, I don't know if you should start with Eclipse Set or not. I probably would start with these films. Maybe not this one right away. I would go with these. These are the ones to start. Wait a minute. Maybe The White Dog is really good. That's a really good film. Oh, by the way, the co-screenwriter for this film was Curtis Hanson. Curtis Hanson directed, what's that movie called? L.A. Confidential. Anyways, Curtis Hanson passed away like a year or so ago, or maybe something more. Curtis Hanson also directed 8 Mile with Eminem. What else did Curtis Hanson direct? I don't really remember or know, but this is, I think, where he got, like, I don't know if it's his first film that he got a start on or not, but he worked under the tutelage of Samuel Fuller in this particular movie. And these films, Naked Kiss and Shot Corridor, are really good movies. They're shot on low budgets, but they're really, really well done. I think I'd start with this one, Shot Corridor. I think it's a little better than Naked Kiss, but Naked Kiss isn't too bad, I guess. I'm trying to remember Naked Kiss. Shot Corridor is great. I love it. And I love the ending, and it's just fantastic. So anyways, that does it for Samuel Fuller. I thought this would be a fairly short video. I was correct. So I'm gonna, right after this, I'm gonna shoot my Rome television series seasons 1 and 2, and then after that we'll have more. We'll have some more stuff. We'll have the Alejandro Jodorowsky box set. We'll have James Cameron. We'll have the Sin City box set, and we'll have according to me, 2 of the best films of the 21st century. I might have a few other ones that I consider some of the best films of the 21st century, but those 2 films really stick out for me. So, but anyways, we'll get to that, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.